Welcome back. Welcome back to Living in Mexico. I'm Maria Salazar. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always great to have you joining us. On the weekends, we have one bit of information or news that we should have been talking about, I would say months ago, because we have a deadline coming up, which if we do not follow, could have an enormous impact literally on your life. And it has to do with this requirement by the Mexican government to formally register all your cell phones. And, there's a huge debate. It has to do with your privacy. It has to do with, whether the Mexican government can actually protect your personal and private information from hacking. And if you've been following my show, we've been having experts coming on talking about, the amount of information that is being linked by different hackers. Very big databases have been made available. So clearly there's a lot of concern by many people about this requirement to have to register your cell phone, your Mexican cell phone. But if you do not do this by June 30th, which is the deadline, there could be enormous, enormous consequences. That's why I really appreciate today's guest, Alina Poilane. She is a journalist who specializes on technology. I've had the opportunity to interview her numerous times throughout the years, and I am so glad, Alina, that you contacted me and reminded me that there is this deadline, and the impact on your and your lifestyle is enormous. Could you just explain to our audience briefly what are the requirements and what could be the potential impact on not registering your cell phone? Welcome to Living in Mexico.
Thank you so much, Ana Maria, for your invitation. And I know there's so much happening in the world right now, like the football thing and a lot of worldwide event, and no one's putting attention in the registration of the lines. That's why I waited until the Mexico was playing, and to really put this on the table, because it will have enormous consequences for people. For example, I am not against or supporting anything. I'm just trying to say that I am a journalist just like you, who have the need to specialize in cybersecurity, because we receive a lot of threats through the email, through our lines, through WhatsApp all the time. And you actually, without any registration, you should have a recovery code. You should have a mail that is not sharing your information with any government. So if you really want to talk about privacy, probably Google, Facebook, or Meta itself, it's not going to be like the best option to put all your data. So if you will remember, in the time we were working together and talking about the filtration, the leakage of the data in Facebook, of course, Facebook got all our data. So right now, there's so much people saying that the government's going to spy you because you are going to register your phone. And that is not true, because what a person, or probably a hacker, would need to really spy on you, every movement, every word you're saying, every password. It's ridiculous in thinking that you are a person who has the same password in every platform. So probably that is more dangerous than giving you your name and your ID. And of course, considering that all the IDs and of course the INE database is already leaked.
It's already been leaked, yeah.
Yes. So we really need to think that is the world we're living in. Every day, a database is leaked from dogs, from HSBC, from BBVA. So every time, and we really need to have these behaviors of security, or having security keys, or having strong passwords, or having something else that is not a password, such as second factor authentication, probably a third or a fourth factor. But that is the world we're living in, and that's not going to change it, and it doesn't depend exactly on the government.
So basically, the requirement right now is that you have to register your cell phone line. And if you have 2 or 3 different cell phone lines, you have to register all cell phone lines. All cell phones in Mexico, I believe that this is what the law says, has to be linked to a name and an identification. So let's start with that. Let's just start with that. How do you register your cell phone line?
There
How is
is a
that done?
site in the CRT portal where you can see the 47 companies that are registered as a carrier, as a provider of telephony services. So one thing that we should do is, there is 2 activities. One is to register your actual phones, your actual lines. You can have up to 10. And there's the other activity that you can enter the 47 portals and to put your CURP, your CURP, that is the identification number for the population, like a population number. It's different from the INE because it's not this. Well, it's in the INE, sorry, but it's different from the one that has the SAT. That it's not related to the taxes, okay? Because some people have this doubt. So you put your CURP on these 47 sites in order to see that there is no other line that you don't recognize in your name, because there have been videos where the people say, I have lines that I don't know how they came there. So we are in the middle of the process that already the carrier gives some information about their users to the government. That's how we are in this 58 million lines registered, because the carriers did give the information to the government. Probably was not voluntary from the people, but we don't know how they did it. I was visiting one of the carriers' office this week, and there's people that was supposed to give the service to the people who go there, and they are registering manually. So there is no way that the mistakes cannot be done, and probably some people that pay monthly to the carrier are being deleted. So there is a lot of mistakes because it's making this process manual. So there are many risks in doing it. But as answering your question, there are 2 activities: searching for your CURP and registering your active lines.
And where do you go then to what websites do you go to do this? Or do you have to, because somebody asked me, do I have to physically go to the telephone
company? I think
company?
it's better to go physically, because you can see that the process is being done perfectly, and the sites are down now, because as we are getting close to this deadline, many sites are down. So I suggest to go in physically, but the whole list is in the CRT government site. If you search in Google for Vincula tu línea, you will see the main carriers, the sites, and probably some others are down. And if you allow me to tell you, I've been doing this research of the 47 sites, and many of them are asking data that is, there is more data than the one that they are asking the government. For example, they are asking an email, or they are asking another data that it's beyond that, such as the location. So not in the law of CRT, they are not saying that they need your location. So probably this is completely the information that the carrier is getting for itself. So it's complicated to do it. It's a
scam. Yeah. So yes. So do you know, because we have a lot of expats and foreigners that listen to the show, what do they do if they have a Mexican cell phone? Do you have any sense? They just show their passport, or what? How do they identify themselves? Do you know?
They are asking your ID, and of course they have to be updated, because if it's outdated, you will not be able to register your line. So that is something that probably most of the people do not consider by the time they are registering their lines. And the other one is the proof that you are alive, that you are not an AI, and that you have to, like present your face and to move it from one side to another. And, as I've been studying cyber crime and of course, terms related to banks, this is a trend that a lot of the new banks, and social media are being integrated, such it's known as KYC. So for me, it's very common to put it in a lot of platforms, because we cannot be as anonymous as we used to be, probably in the 90s. So we really need to demonstrate that we are who we are saying in online,
So what are the risks of not registering your cell phone? What will happen if you do not register, if they don't postpone this deadline, which apparently they're pretty adamant that June 30th is the deadline? I think that everything, it's going to be so chaotic that I don't know, at one point they may have to postpone it at least for a couple of months. But what happens if basically they keep the deadline, which is the end of June, and you have not registered your cell phone?
Well, it's happening right now. If you buy a new SIM card, for example, it's that if you really want to activate it, you have to put your ID in order to connect it. So it's going to be the same way. You're going to receive an SMS message that your line was canceled. Well, it's not, the term is not canceled, it's suspended. Your line was suspended because it was not registered. If you want to activate, please provide the ID and the proof of that you are alive, and you will continue to receive our service. So that is going to be the process. But if you do not activate it, you don't have the email, you don't present your face, you will not be able to receive codes. For example, in terms of banks, that is the most delicate subject about this matter, is that probably you will not be receiving the notifications about the operations that you are doing in your bank. Or if you forgot the password of your bank, some banks are saying, okay, I'm going to send you a code so you can recover your password. You will not be able to do that. And of course, to receive the calls from the bank, from your family. And most people is saying that you can buy a SIM card from another country and you can register. It's not so easy for Mexican banks. And if that company just disappeared, you will be very more in risk than just providing your INE. So probably what I've been doing these late 3 years, these last years, was to recover people from hacking, from being hacking from WhatsApp, from Facebook, but the line. The telephone line is very essential. It's essential to recover it. So if you lose it, you will not have any way to recover it if you forget your password. So just have clear which is your password, because probably you will not be able to enter again to Gmail, to your social media, to everything that is linked.
So basically, one of the takeaways of our conversation is, even if you've registered your cell phone, it's still probably a good idea to just go back and make sure you know all your passwords. Because if you, for whatever reason, even if your cell phone is stolen, you actually need to have those passwords. It's easier to recover everything if you have your cell phone line. But if you don't, or if you lose it, or if your bank basically has as a requirement to to have your cell phone line register, you're not going to be able to access your bank account, at least through your cell phone. That's
Yes.
most of the identifications, that the two-step identifications, most of it is done through your cell phone, which is the other thing I think is I have most of my identification, not all of them, but it's kind of like a two-step. It's just easy, right? But so that's really interesting. So it's kind of like a time to just sit down and just review all your passwords and the security of your passwords.
It's not just the password, because a lot of people has like this notebook where they put all the password. It goes beyond that.
Right.
We really need to have recovery codes, a physical key. That if you present the key, it's a Fido Yubico key. It's you can buy it on Amazon. You only have to present it once, because it's a proof that you are giving access. Banks has Morgan Chase or U.S. banks have all these made because they know that this is a more secure way to access your bank. But in Mexico, we don't have it yet. But it goes beyond the password. I've made a whole methodology that it's in a platform called Platzi, where I put all the it's like making an auditioning, it's making an audit of all your digital life. If you use your platforms, then go shield, put a shield on it, and if you don't use it, let's close it, because it will be like an open window for hackers. But it really requires like 5 to 6 hours to actually see what is registered in every mail, in every line. It takes time to really have the control of what you got and not to lose it.
So do you have any sense as to how many people have taken seriously this warning? Because I see, news programs, and I see people talking about it, and I'm not too sure, especially because we're in the middle of the World Cup, that people are kind of realize that they have this deadline coming up. Do we have any sense how far this has gone? I mean, that people are actually registering?
The president said yesterday in a press conference that they go in the half of the database, and some data suggests 58 million registered versus 95 million that it's in the active lines of the whole country. So probably, I think probably it's less, but the reality will be like floating next week, where all the people go and probably be desperate on doing, and all the sites will be down. So I know, and the government haven't talked about any more giving more time to register it. So that's why the banks are sending an email saying, please go register your line, because if you don't want to have problems with your bank, the bank works side by side with your phone line, so don't lose it. So if the government will be playing with these deadlines, probably the banks will not be sending this kind of messages.
Well, it'll be interesting to see the chaos that's gonna develop, and of course it's gonna happen at a point where people are going on vacation, people are trying to travel. Those people who can still will have any funds to travel during the summer. So it's an important thing to do. One last question, and I'm still don't understand what's going to happen with foreigners. As you know, there has to be at least 1 million foreigners living in Mexico. Some of them are tourists or on tourist visas, so they don't have necessarily, especially the expats, they don't necessarily have like a formal Mexican ID. But they do have Mexican cell phones. Do you know what's going to happen with these individuals?
You can present your passport too. It's not exactly the INE, and you can register online. So that's why the sites are accessible to the whole world. But I probably what I see is that the people, it's not uh, conscious of that this is going to
Right.
happen on next week, you know. And I've seen a lot of memes that a lot of people is going to talk through a pigeon or through a
Right,
you know
right,
through
right.
the smoke signs
The
or something
smoke
like that.
signs, yeah, yeah.
Yes. So
Well,
probably it's funny, but I'm not sure if they are going to really be conscious of what is happening. But I suggest that the people don't lose it because, of course, and just to close the interview, the reassignations of the number will take 6 months to do it. So if you leave your Google Drive backup of your access to Facebook,
right,
everything will be probably reassigned by the law. Probably the law is saying it's 2 years, but in the practice, in the everyday reassignation, the demand is so high that they are giving 6 months to reassign a number. So
right,
when you receive it and to buy it, you receive that heritage from that past
right,
number, and that
right,
include banks and WhatsApp accounts, a
right.
lot of things. So probably that's the lottery for someone.
Well, it's always great to have you on the show. I'm so glad you joined us, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to
Same.
be listening
Thank
very,
you.
very closely to your recommendations. Alina Paulin, she is a journalist. She specializes on technology, and it's always great to talk to you and hear your recommendations. Thank you so much, Alina.
Thank you so much, Ana Maria, and thank you for having me in your program.
Thank you. We are going to go to a break. I'm Ana Maria Salazar. You're listening and watching Living in Mexico. Please don't go away. I'll be right back.